Hello MMA fans and by extension fight fans. I'm doing a response to Chase's video directly and indirectly to Miz's video, and I'm going to respond to each of their opinions, and I'm going to give a little bit of my own, and also I'm going to bring up a little deeper into the subject that I think some people should know, and it's kind of a blackball in the UFC. First up, of course, fighter pay is a big thing, and in regards to Chase, yes, there should be some revenue sharing amongst, a percentage of the pay-per-view to the main event, because they are making massive profit, and the fighters, some fighters, not all fighters, but some fighters are being paid basically beans, and if you're in the main event or the co-main event, I think you should get a little bit extra. On to Miz's. Okay, Miz, your idea that fighters fight because they enjoy, yeah, this is true, but you know what, you're also putting your body on the line, you're putting your health on the line, and training takes up a great deal of time, and it's hard to find a second job. Now you brought up the idea of they do seminars to make money. There's a problem here. A guy like Carl Parisian, yeah, he can do a seminar and make money. The guy like Keith Jardine, not as much. Note the difference. Lower tier fighters, no one will show up for that. No one will. It's that simple. Now, basically, that's basically my point. And also in regards to the fact that they have to pay other people, yeah, they do have to pay other people. I feel for those people because some of my friends are guys who are going into TV production because that's a big thing at my school. But you have another problem here. There's a greater deal of job security there. I mean, basically, if you worked on one UFC pay-per-view, you're going to be around for a couple more unless you really, really fuck up. 2, you're not at a physical health risk that could maim and possibly prevent you from making a living. 3, you're, I don't know, I really have a 3, but fighters sell the pay-per-views, fighters risk life and limb, fighters have no job security. You lose a fight in the UFC, you could be head packing. There are guys that have only lost one fight in the UFC, and they did well in it. Like, for example, Brock Larson, for the longest time, lost his UFC contract because he lost to John Fitch. Another key example would be Charles McCarthy. Lost to the spinning back kick of David the Crow Loazo. Did not get brought back until Tough 4. Came off of Tough 4, beat Gideon Ray, and still doesn't have a contract. So I think you see my point. Job security, very, very low. Alright, now I'm going to delve into a little bit of an issue, and that is, if you've been paying attention to me, you know that one of my favorite lightweights of all time is Joaquin Hellboy Hansen, and this caught my attention the other day, and that is, the UFC owns Joaquin Hellboy Hansen's Pride contract when they bought Pride. They've got a good number of the contracts, but not all. There's a few that they did not get, like that of Sokoju, and I don't think they got Ricardo Aronas or Little Nogueras, and they definitely didn't get Sergey Haratonov and Alistair Overeem because they're fighting in K1. But here would be the key. They have Hansen's contract to the end of 2007 unless they choose to release him. Hansen in Pride made $15,000 to fight and $15,000 to win, which it's a good sum for. But we're talking about a guy who has beaten Gomi. Keep this in mind, and we're talking about a guy who has also been top 5 at one time in the world, Shudo champion. He slipped a little bit in recent memory, probably with a couple other lightweights picking up the pace. Like guys like Ishida, Shaolin Hibero, Shinya Aoki, Mitsuhiro Ishida, I think I just said him, but Tatsuya Kawajiri would be another one, Gilbert Melendez. These guys have kind of pushed him back, and he's out of some people's top 10s. In fact, he's out of mine, and I'm a big fan of him. But I got him probably still very near the top 10. He just needs one big one to be back in. But about Hellboy Hansen's ranking. Hellboy Hansen, very exciting fighter, very promotable fighter. Has a win over Gomi, and you can promote the shit out of him. He speaks good English for a guy who, that's not his first language. And the UFC has said, we will only let you fight if you fight for half the Pride money. That would be $7,500, which is, that's like tough winter contract without nearly the length. Excuse me. That's bullshit. I'll tell you why. I mean, A, you got a contract, you are the contract. They like to tell fighters that you have to honor the contract. UFC should damn well honor the contract that they have signed. Doesn't matter if Pride signed it. They should honor it. Either that, or say, Hansen, you're now a free agent. Go ask K1, go ask Cage Rage, wherever you wish to go. It's BS. Of course, Hansen didn't take it. He's signed a $15,000 contract. He wants his $15,000. Now, of course, I've heard UFC fans claim, well, you got to earn your way up. How much does Hansen have to earn his way up? He's beaten Gomi. He was 4-2 in Pride. He beat Eve Edwards. There's another one. The only losses he had were to Gomi and to Shinya Aoki, okay, which are top 10 guys. Basically, Sakurai probably top 5 in the world. Aoki, lower end of the top 10. Aoki a little one-dimensional nonetheless. I mean, there's no better submission guy at 155 or 160 or probably even 170 when he fights there. So I'm saying that's bull. And I'm going to say why $15,000 is easily worth Joachim Hansen's paycheck. Marcus Aurelio, a one-dimensional fighter who only has ground skills, has horrible striking, he does not have particularly good cardio, and outside of beating Gomi, a bad-looking Gomi, has done very little in the sport. They paid him $30,000 to lose to Clay Guida. They inherited his Pride contract, which was only $10,000, and decided, we're going to bump you up to $30,000. Now, this makes me think, why are we doing this? Okay, the only conclusion I have is, they know Marcus Aurelio is not suited for the UFC's rules. A guy with who does like to work off the bottom is not particularly well suited to it because of the cage and because of strong wrestlers. They gave him the pay boost to make him stick around, make him fight, and they get to market this as, this is the guy that beat Gomi, and these are the UFC guys that have beaten him. This is turning into an anti-UFC rant, but I also did plenty of anti-Pride rants. Not on YouTube, but it was there. It's UFC. This is some bullshit. I honestly think they just don't want Hansen because they think Hansen, a guy who can beat pretty much any lightweight they have right now. And this is honest. I mean, if you disagree with me, you disagree with me. That's fine. But the only guys I think he really has trouble with would be, well, obviously BJ Penn, Sean Shirk, maybe Joe Stevenson. Joe Stevenson might have a hope against him. That's it. I just honestly don't think they want a guy like him to show up some of their fighters. And, I mean, you could market him huge. The American public would eat Joachim Hansen up, okay? The man likes to strike. He has exciting takedowns. He suplexes people. He has a very solid ground game. This is the guy the UFC should have grabbed onto. And also with the rumors that they're trying to expand into Europe, outside of England, I mean, that was a huge marketing tool, and they let it go. This is basically shame on UFC for what they did to Hellboy Hansen, and more appropriately, the whole fighter pay thing. I think it really needs to be looked at. I mean, yes, if you go into fighting, you enjoy fighting, but guess what? You're taking a serious sacrifice because it's hard to find a really good paying day job while you train for fighting. It can be done. Don't get me wrong. A guy like would be Mike Pat, who makes a good living outside of fighting. But you say you can run seminars, but again, you got to be a high-profile fighter to do that. Carl Parisian, Hanato Babalu Sobral. I'll give you an example. I went to a Mark Boschek seminar up here. There were literally 4 people that showed up, and there was maybe 10 that actually paid to go into it. So I think you see where I'm going with this. But anyways, that's my opinion on fighter payouts, Hellboy Hansen, and revenue sharing. I don't know how much of it should be shared, but I think a little bit of the percentage should go to a fighter, because right now the only fighters I can think of that get pay-per-view shares are Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, and I've never heard it said, but I would assume Matt Hughes has it. Anyways, signing off. Comment, disagree with me, agree with me, whatever. Just don't do anything stupid on my comment page, because I'll just block it. Ooh, excuse me. Have a good one.